Hey guys, Seymour Siren Boy here. Today I'm going to be doing a different video. Today I'm going to show you how to reassemble your Edan Mini Sirens. For right now I only have two, which are a Mini 5T and a Mini 2T22. That doesn't work. So I think we should do the harder one first, which is the 2T22. But first, here is all the hardware that came with those sirens. And my screwdrivers of choice are a Hyper Tough screw gun, optional tool is a flathead screwdriver, and then a normal screwdriver with a Phillips head. And the Phillips head can work in the Hyper Tough screw gun. So yeah, let's get started. So the first one is the 2T22. As you can see, one rotor isn't in. I have the rotor right here, but since I did super glue this before I changed all the wiring around, as you can see, it does not fully go down, and you can see the bottom rotor is not spinning. So yeah, I might have to send it back to Edan, but you never know. So, the 2T22 came with these to cover up with the ports, as you can see. And the screws came on this, but I didn't feel like taking them on, or putting them on, taking them back off, and then putting them back on again. So these ports you're going to need are your 12-port and 10-port horns. Just going to move the hardware box out of the way. Your mounting triangle piece. Your bottom intake. Your top intake. Your reflector cone. And your little A-frame to hold up the support. So I'm going to do the 10-port side first. So I have a nice little sturdy structure. Let's move the horns out of the way. So let's flip it over. And as you can see, the rotor does not fit in very well, and it really is just scraping on the surface. So I'm going to take out the rotor. Sorry if you guys are not in focus, because I'm shooting this really awkwardly. That should work, so make you guys see it completely clear, and it looks like I do. So the first step is to attach the horns. So here's what one of the horns is, and then it just slides right into the slot. And one of these horns is cracked, but I'm not sure which one that is. So I'm looking through the horns. I know it's on one of the 10-port sides, or it's not a 12-port, I'm not completely sure. Okay, so here is it with all the horns on. So now we grab the right one for here, and we just do that. So what I like to do is put the intake on first, then grab the screw gun, grab 10 of the little screws, and I'll actually put these in different parts, so give me 1 second and I'll be right back. Alright guys, here is all the screws in. There is one missing right here, because I only have 9 of these screws and 11 of the other screws, so yeah, so I'm gonna actually bring this up a little bit. You still can't really see it that well, so I'm just gonna add the triangle support piece on. So I actually did a time lapse of me putting on the screws. Actually, it's pretty cool. So for these, I'm not gonna do a time lapse because, well, there's only 3 screws. So, yeah. Alright, so now the 222 can stand. So now it's time to work on the top, which you guys can't see, so I might have to adjust the camera. So hold on guys, 1 second. Alright guys, I'm back. So now it's time to work on the 12-port side. So grab the horns and start putting the horns in. As I'm adding the final horns in, I was looking at the poll voting about which mini siren I should get next. About 79% of you picked a Cyclone, which is alright with me, but 11% of you picked a Sentry or a Screamer. So I was thinking, since Brian, or WNY Siren Guy, has a Cyclone, I was thinking on getting a Sentry 10V first, then getting a Cyclone. So I hope you guys are not completely mad with me on that. So now I just gotta find the little adapter piece, and then I'll be right back with this. Alright, now I'm back. So now it's time to add the support frame. So the same thing with the triangle support. I am not going to time lapse this because there's only 3 screws. See, and what was funny about me getting the 2T22 was it did not have a extra support leg on the bottom, so it had all 4 screws on here. So I just took one of the screws on here, and then it's just been working ever since February of 2023. If I can get this screwdriver, or screw gun in. Okay, and that's on. Here's the loafer. I'm gonna just extend this up a little bit. So then you get your eye bolt and your washer. And then you just screw it in by hand. And just like that, you're done. So now we'll move on to the 5T. Okay, so now we'll move on to the 5T. So the 5T, you have the main core, and if you are wondering, yes, it still does work, but I'm just not going to give you a test after it's completely done. So the stuff you'll need for this is your hardware, I believe 1/4 Allen wrench, because if you know what this size is, feel free to let me know in the comments. Your main middle shroud part. This is what I like to call the crown. And then the top part, which if you just do it like this, you can just make your Model 5T a Mach 7T, which is pretty cool, but that is not what I'm gonna do. And then of course you got your A-frame that will attach to here. So let's attach the A-frame first. The A-frame can be a little tricky to get started, but when it's in, it's in. And you can just finish screwing it down. You might have to center the other side of the A-frame. I guess what I'm doing here. There we go, the A-frame is now on. So now we'll move that to the side. And now work on the shroud. So this came with 4 screws attached to it, but the other 2 are lost, so I have to use 2. But 2 still works just as fine as 4. So now these can be a little tricky to get started, but like I said, when they're started, you can easily put them back in. Just get it started. For this, I'm gonna have to use the screwdriver. I'm not able to get the screw gun in there. And you just center up your other hole, and then you put in your other screw. And bam, that's all connected. Now you're gonna grab this. Don't mind the super glue, because this is where it cracked, but it still works completely fine. So you line up where the holes are, and as soon as you get 2 in there, then you can put in the rest. So same thing here, I'm not gonna time lapse it, even though there are 6 screws. Okay, we've got 2 more screws. And I'm not sure if I told you guys about the pole I did, but I am going to be picking the Century 10V. Just not sure if I told you guys, and I just dropped the screw, so that's why it stopped for right now. So I'm just using a back scratcher that we have that's sitting right next to me. So just get started and then finish it up. And there you go, your tire shroud is done. So now you don't need the screwdriver anymore. So now you grab your base, you put it inside, and you have your wires, these little slot for the, so then you just line up your holes, and then you just put in your screw. I'm gonna try and show you guys. So as you can see, I'm tightening this down, but you can also just use the Allen wrench to finish tightening it. Yeah, so for these, I actually lost them. I then found some new ones from the old 3D printer I used to have. And for the record, no, I have not, or I did not print any sirens on that printer. The reason why is the STL files just weren't saving to the SD card. So I have a new printer I'm thought of buying, which is a MakerBot Replicator Plus. And as you saw from the Mini Siren Blast video, you saw the mini Thunderbolts in the back. I used my first period teacher's 3D printer, which is the same MakerBot Replicator Plus. And it actually worked pretty good. So now all your final touch is your eye bolt and washer. And just like that, your 5T and your 2T22 are done. So I hope this was helpful. Feel free to comment, like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later.